This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1208, and it's the Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Nashville, it's artist, producer, mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
Just down the street there, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
And in LA, you know him from Social Club Misfits, it's Marty.
What up?
I'm sorry. Marty, you keep doing the different iterations of the same what up.
But I just feel like maybe if the frequency is off, it could change everything.
It's always like the scary movie thing. Like,
the Scream one.
Yeah. Well, I figured it was Halloween, scary movie Halloween. I figured I'd bring it back.
No, but we're past Halloween now. It's
past
November
Halloween.
1st.
This is the day after.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's very true. But I mean, I'm on the West Coast, so I'm like later than you
So
guys.
it's still Halloween there. Got it.
So by looking at y'all, now that we're in November, you guys are all wearing purple. Is that just a thing now? Is purple the color of the season?
It's the color of the season, man.
It is, yeah. You got to
I'm
go with it.
I'm wearing black.
They're wearing purple. They both are matching.
Purple's in right now.
Black's always in, so it doesn't count. But yeah, purple is the move.
Always bet on black.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Way to make this race related. Just kidding.
No, that was actually craps.
Yeah,
I know, but I just felt like it was a double meaning there.
Now you've made it a race thing. And I
never would bet on red.
Offended.
I would never bet on red. That's for sure.
Okay, so Marty, before we started recording, you're bragging about your new hoodie that you got on the TikTok shop.
Lately, I've been shopping a lot on TikTok shop. I'm not going to even.
What have you been buying?
I bought 2 hoodies. I bought a video game system.
Right. You said
like
that last week.
$300 video game system. I bought little like trinkets for like my room. You know how like Emily has like that Target like neon light thing behind her?
I have a neon cowboy hat. Yeah.
Yeah, they sell at Target. Is that the one from Target?
Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, they sell it there. They also sell it on TikTok Shop. They also have a cactus, which I bought. That's how I know.
Okay.
And I've been buying like left and right. Remember how Temu came out and you're like, I'm buying hats.
Yeah.
I am loving buying. I don't need any of this stuff, but I'm buying it all. I don't know why. I probably spent $400.
But
you want to know the most interesting thing on TikTok Shop right now? It's the earbuds that translate language.
Yeah.
Those are very interesting. I don't know, and I don't want to spend $40 to find out. But one of the guys, like commercials that came through my feed, he was like, hey, you know when you're at the beauty shop and you want to make sure that they're not talking bad about you?
That's why it was made.
Buy these AirPods. I was like, what in the world is this? And he goes on saying that it could translate 70 different languages.
Wow.
Via AI. I'm like, man, that's pretty interesting. I'm surprised Zuckerberg didn't put those in the glasses or whatever. You know what I mean?
But I feel like it's funny that the frustration of going to like a nail salon is probably what really started it. It wasn't sharing languages and sharing culture. The guy was just like, they're talking about me here.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like most of the things I believe that things have like invented and stuff, like anything that's been invented, pretty sure it came from like this petty reason and it just kept blossoming into something better and better. So
pettiness breeds ingenuity. I think that's a beautiful thing about America.
I think ingenue is different than ingenuity, just FYI.
Which one did I say?
my cousin's name is Ingenuity.
We call him John, but his full name.
If y'all had the headphones in, it would have translated it correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how it works.
His name is John, but we call him Ingenuity.
We talked about Temu TikTok Shop last episode, so I'm not trying to rehash that. But after that conversation, I got shown a TikTok store, a guy who was like cooking steaks, the perfect steak kind of thing, right? And I like cooking steaks, and so he was like, the way you can. He was doing a thing of like you can air fry the perfect steak. And I was like, okay, I've never tried air frying. Let me watch this. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, the way he did it was he had a wireless meat thermometer that had an app, and he, put it in the steak and put it in the air fryer. And he just watched his app till it became a perfect medium rare, and then he took it out of the air fryer. I was like, genius. I didn't know they had wireless meat thermometers. So he's like, oh, by the way, these meat thermometers are normally $150, but right now I'll put the link below. You can buy it for $45 from my shop, sort of thing. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I went and checked it out. And then I thought, we just talked about this on the podcast. If there's a Chinese-made product on the TikTok shop, go check it on Temu first, right? Oh. Scroll down, put a wireless meat thermometer, saw a bunch of comparable ones. Scroll down, found the exact one he was selling for $45, $17 on
Whoa. That's crazy.
Wow. Same photo
just
and everything.
Cut the middleman out. Go straight to Temu. Cut the middleman out.
He was making like $10 off each one of them.
That's way more than that.
20,
30. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he was selling it for $45.
Sometimes it's like, sometimes with everything, they like the profit is like a $10 profit per piece, because there's a guy, even the guy that I bought this hoodie from, he recommended it and I gave him money, but I should have searched this hoodie up.
I guarantee you he got it somewhere else.
I spent $34, probably a $10 hoodie. It's probably $34. That's crazy. Yeah. So did you end up buying the thermometer?
No,
there's another thing called I think it's called Offer Up or some sort of auction thing too. Same deal. Like they're doing like whole auctions. Like sometimes I'm sliding through TikTok and it's like this lady's auctioning off stuff, and it's like we just turned TikTok into the home shopping network.
Really
it's
true.
It's crazy.
And I kind of like it, network. But I can never see anything else but that on TikTok. Have you guys had that issue? I can't see what's really going live. I mean, why would I want to see someone going live? Because I see like a Spider-Man guy who's like, thanks guys. And he's doing this.
That's all I see is NPCs. I saw this hood NPC dude.
Hood one?
Yes. He's like gold teeth. He's in the middle of the projects and he's dressed up like corn and he's doing ridiculous stuff. We'll just put it that way.
I will say y'all's TikTok algorithm is very different than mine. I'm not seeing that at all.
There's a Spider-Man dude that posts up in Walmarts. Like he just goes to random Walmarts and he's like, gotcha. Like, and you like, what is he doing? And I'm like, how is Walmart not kicking this dude out? Like, why is Walmart not kicking this guy out? But it's Walmart, so
this makes sense to me now. Like, this is helping me make sense of how the people like the Boom guys that were on like Jimmy Fallon this week, like how they got so big. Because I've never seen them on my algorithm once, but apparently they're big enough. Never once, but they're apparently big enough to be on Fallon.
If it ever appears on your, don't even slow down. Like you do not want to get
go straight
algorithm.
I don't want this content.
Jimmy Fallon looked pissed. He looked upset,
and I'll say he was right. Like
I watched 5 booms. He's like, "Can we stop this 5 boom?"
I would be so frustrated if I was Jimmy Fallon.
I'm glad you brought this up, Emily, because we were talking about that this morning. Because specifically, while we were on the phone, I saw this like edit of all of Jimmy's reactions to the Boom guys, on the show, and how just over it he was. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I thought before I saw that the America and Jimmy were like, "What is going on?" I was watching it like, how did they get on the Tonight Show? And I'm thinking, okay, I understand maybe the rationale of the booker that a lot of these famous actors and stuff, the movie that they're promoting might be seen by 500,000 people. And these Boom guys, one video is seen by 20 million people. So, okay, so America's into this. But my thing about their whole phenomenon is just, I thought we were all in on the joke that this is a car wreck. We're not looking away, but we don't actually think it's good, right?
I always thought it was. I always thought it was like, I thought it's a joke.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is a joke, right?
I know they aren't they don't know they're a joke. They think they're just popular, but I thought like America had the collective, like, we're just watching this because it's so bad.
You're not even an influencer. You're another version of that's not.
I'm discovering that I think there's actual people who actually like it. And I'm just like, that to me is mind-boggling. What do you enjoy about this?
They sell out of merch. Kim, they sold out of merch with this kid's face.
Ironically,
that says the Rizzler.
I'll wear a Rizzler shirt, ironically, not because I think that this 7-year-old kid is in any way entertaining. I don't get it, man. Derek, what are your thoughts about the Rizzler?
I don't have any. I don't
Really?
I don't have one thought.
Let's give that 5 booms, Emily.
Like,
Boom, boom.
I can't do it, bro. Like,
It's so bad.
It's bad, bro. Like I literally, but it's brain rot. Like my brain is
brain rot.
This is brain rot. Like this is going to rot your brain. Like so, I don't have any thoughts.
They're legit celebrities.
There is a difference between, I think, internet famous and then normal famous. And that line is getting blurrier. Like
It's
the fact
blurry.
but it's still interesting because there are so many people on the internet who it's like, yeah, maybe I enjoy seeing them, on their TikToks or whatever. But then if they were to cross over into TV, it's really embarrassing. Like I think a really interesting one is a few years ago, that girl Addison Rae, like she blew up on TikTok and now she's doing like acting and singing. And there are a lot of people who are like, why are you doing this? You're just a TikTok person, like stick to TikTok.
Yeah, she's Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
So there's a guy named Zevi. I don't know if y'all watch him, but he's the guy that he does he'll take like the Lil Durk case and he'll be like, but this guy, he had a problem, and he'll break down all of the facts behind it. But he broke down Kabi Lame. I think his name Kabi Lame or whatever.
Yeah.
And at one point he was number 2 on TikTok and someone else was number 1 on TikTok. And TikTok decided we want to make Kabi number 1. Well, now he's going off to do Dancing with the Stars in Italy. He's going off to try to do acting. He says, I don't really care about TikTok anymore, because he realized that TikTok famous isn't famous, and he wants to go to a different level. And TikTok is turned on him. So it is this thing that's like, we want you famous, but you can't transcend like internet TikTok fame. And I don't know, this is an odd time. And another thought I had was, so I think about my kids. They knew about this Rizzler kid a long time ago. I remember them singing this song about the Rizzler like 2 years ago. So I was like, what the heck is this? So now this dude is blown up. What my thought is like, well, remember when TV was like, it made you famous?
Right.
I think for guys like this Rizzler guy, like he's going to be famous to our kids. Like for us, it's not fame because we remember all these other mediums. But, their world is the internet. It's TikTok. It's all those different things. And it's going to be like where the internet is the primary source of fame, as opposed to these other aging mediums that we all grew up with. That's kind of my perspective.
So you think that like our kids won't have, remember how they always would talk about how old Hollywood is gone? And then there was a new version of Hollywood, which would be, old Hollywood being the Rat Pack. It would be, Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall. And then you have new Hollywood, which was like all the famous guys we love now, which is the George Clooney's and Brad Pitt's. And then after that, they're like, Hollywood's done. Mm-hmm. It kind of is done. Now, I think celebrities, what we see in celebrities, even now in like Lifetime movies and like the Christmas movies, those are all like Addison Rae is in 2 of them. Like these people are now doing anything they can to be famous. What I've also heard too is that a lot of people are ditching TikTok, Instagram, and they're going right to YouTube. Because YouTube is just, you could sustain a YouTube career. You really can't sustain a TikTok career. And so it's just funny, like how we look at celebrities or how we look for celebrities is completely different how Gen Z looks at them.
100%.
Well, my thing is when you think about even the actors that are popping now, like a newer actor would be like Timothée Chalamet or Tom Holland. But those guys are kind of, they've been around for a season. I wonder if the new actors are going to be, you're going to find them on the internet. Like you're going to find them in there and they're going to be these entertainers, because that's all a movie is entertainment to us. I'm not saying movies are going to die out, but you got these guys that they literally have scripts and scripts and scripts of great entertainment on their YouTube and TikTok. I wonder if they're going to be the movie stars of the future,
Well, I mean, one of the new cast members on SNL was that girl who's huge on TikTok. What was her name, Emily? Did she sing that awkward song?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like her. I do like her though.
She was like TikTok famous.
She did like TikTok
That's how she got discovered. Yeah.
I didn't know that was from TikTok skit. I thought, wow.
So, but the thing that was so funny to me watching the Jimmy Fallon thing, it was like the two worlds colliding. It was like their content, even in the interview, was so so eye-rolly cringe. It was so bad. And, and Jimmy's face just couldn't hide it. And it's like Jimmy's in there, like you could feel the inner monologue where he was like, you're getting hundreds of millions of views and followers entertaining people. I'm like singing and dancing and doing comedy and writing and to entertain people. And it's like, I've worked hard at my craft and you did this for the same result. Like, it's just like, you could see there's the life sucking out of his face, man.
It's soul crushing.
All right. Well, we have a great show in store for you. Coming up later, one of my favorite R&B artists, Gallant, joins us. He has a new album just came out. He talks to us about that. You don't want to miss it. At the end of the show, we have your feedback, but stay tuned. After this break, it's Relevant Buzz. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold.
All right, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, well, unless you guys have been living under a rock, Election Day is on Tuesday.
What?
Yeah. Have y'all voted yet? Or are you planning on voting?
I missed it. I missed voting, honestly.
I like doing it on the day of. I like the buzz of being there on
drama.
Election Day. Yeah. So I'm going on Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Well, you are one of the few because a recent report from Arizona Christian University found that only 51% of people who identify as people of faith are planning on voting this year.
Oh,
and
wow.
When you look specifically at like the Christians who said they weren't voting, 41 million Christians said they would not be voting in this election.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That could be a real decision maker in the election.
That is crazy, though.
It's a really big deal. And there's like a few reasons that they're sitting out. 68% said they just aren't interested in politics. They're just so like burnt out from it that they are choosing not to engage at all. 57% said they didn't like either candidate. And then about 50 believe their vote won't make a difference, partially because they're afraid the election results are going to be manipulated anyways. So,
oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Gosh. So they're not voting because of a conspiracy? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But like I said, 41 million like vote. And that's just Christians that aren't voting. Like that's a huge amount.
How do we know that's the real number?
It was a survey done by Barna at not Barna the organization, but George Barna, the actual guy, kind of led this survey with this university. So
this is legit. 41 million.
Yeah,
41 million would be incredible.
Jeez.
Now, I will say we could potentially throw a little bit of a wrench into this study. I think it's still very valid, but there is another study that came out this week that said 1 in 4 voters, and specifically half of Gen Z voters, lie about their vote to close friends and family.
Oh, wow. I believe that.
Why? Like, why? What? Break that down.
The big reason is they just don't want to rock the boat. They know that if they are honest about who they're voting for, it's going to cause tension with family and friends. So they either say they're voting for a different candidate, or they just remain silent altogether and not talk about it.
Is this connected to, didn't we run a study recently about like, there's this big percentage of people that like, of Christians who have like severed friendships or like broken relationships with family members over politics?
Yeah. It's in younger generations, about 1 in 4 people have gone completely no contact with a family member or friend over differences in politics or religious beliefs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I will say this. I do think healthy boundaries are good in life, right? And I mean, I don't mind saying it. I was at a family gathering not all that long ago, a multiple day. We were staying somewhere together. And I have been very adamant that there's boundaries. Like, for us to be a family, we will talk about these things and we will not talk about these things. And certain lines were crossed. And I was forced into conversations that I was not comfortable with. And I just chose that for me in my house, we don't need to be here. And so I left. I literally left.
Wow.
We drove
honestly,
home early.
You probably saved the whole family dynamic.
I mean, it would cause, honestly, my action caused tension for about a month. But then, we made up. But then it was just a hard reset where I'm going, I told y'all I'm not engaging that stuff. And you're not going to like lure me into these conversations just because we're staying at the beach together or whatever. Like I'm not doing this.
So this is a question I got in that situation because my family's not really like that. My mom, usually what happens when she brings up politics, I'd be like, oh, that's crazy. And I hit her with about 5, oh, that's crazies.
And then tires herself out and she moves on.
It's done. Is your family more like they want the Cameron response? Like, you have to give me the debate? Like, is that what they're looking for?
Yeah. They want to like it's a debate. Gotcha. What do you have to say about this? What do you have to say about that?
So they ask you what do you have to say about this? My mom is usually just pontificating and I'm just, oh, that's crazy.
No, it's trying to trap me in like different things. And so I'll tell you, my son was there and he's old enough to know what's going on. And he was bothered and he went down to his room to, be away from the conversation. And then other family members ended up leaving the room too. And it's just like, I'm just going, this ain't worth it to me.
I'm happy you did that for your son.
I'm also not going to just sit there and let you win because you're wrong. And so
I'm happy you did that for your son because people got mad at my pastor for not wanting to be political. And he was like, he's like, the word of God never changes. This will always change. How you think about your politics will change, but the word of God's, that's what we're preaching from. I remember him saying that, like, I appreciate, but I don't want to give you guys an opinion. You guys do what you want. I'm going to teach you about the word of God. And hopefully you could filter it through that. And I remember people would leave the church. They're like, you don't talk about politics. I'm like, that is South Florida for you.
Yeah. I literally, when I texted and said, hey, by the way, we've left and here's why, I did say, I just don't want Cohen to see the family through that lens. I just don't want him around that. If that's what it's going to be this weekend, we're going to excuse ourselves.
Good dad.
And after the election, we can figure things out. But like, my goodness. So I understand the boundaries thing, but
no contact is tough.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like severing family members for good because that's a lot.
I'll be honest. There was a time where like I had an aunt, she said some really hurtful things and we got into a lot of fights and I just decided like, I'm not going to talk to her anymore. Like I'll be like, we saw each other like Thanksgiving and I said hi and that was it. And eventually some other things happened in our family and I worked through, we worked through it and we're fine now. But like, it was really hard to like be no contact with her. Cause there was a part of me that was like, I kept remembering all the memories from when I was younger and like the fun things that we would do together. And I wanted that relationship back. And after a time, again, like I said, we broke no contact and we are friends again and we get along well. But it's tough. Like it's tough to go no contact, but it is also hard to be around someone who doesn't respect those boundaries. So
don't respect boundaries. That's the thing. I remember you said Thanksgiving. I hosted Thanksgiving last year. My brother is, he'll say he's kind of the black sheep of the family. He's a great guy, but like he just doesn't see eye to eye with any of our family members. Well, it's the extended
Green
family.
Party.
Yeah, it's the extended family.
No winning in the race. He's just Green Party, baby.
The crazy uncle sitting directly across from him and stuff. And he's not. And so he's saying all these conspiracy theories, whatever. We just roll our eyes. We don't engage it. It's crazy uncle. But then for some reason, he started asking my brother, who's single, like, when he's going to get married, and he started like pressuring him and all this stuff.
The worst questions.
During Thanksgiving dinner, my brother just kind of elbowed me. He's like, I'm leaving. And he got up and tucked his chair in and walked out the front door and didn't say a word. He just left Thanksgiving. He just left Thanksgiving. That. It's just like, I don't
Irish
need to
exit, baby.
I don't need to engage this. I don't want to be here. I'm leaving.
I'm going Irish.
It's totally different from my family because you get cussed out. I done seen like I'm talking about like crazy stuff. Like just like like the politics is like, man, I wish that's the kind of arguments. There's been some arguments like wow. And then somebody come make you a plate. And will you be mad at each other sitting there eating, watching the game?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's always the worst when you're like, I'm leaving, and then someone's parked behind you in the front of the house.
Come on back in.
Uncle John, can you move? And they're like, no. And I've had that happen. Where families like, no, you got to deal with it. I've literally had family be like, no, we're not moving. So I'm like, all right, over the grass and stuff. And like, my wife's like, why did you have to?
Like we'd have been at like family reunions or barbecues or whatever, especially my family up in Michigan, and it's like I'm talking about full blood drunken fist fights. And
my goodness!
Then later on in the evening we playing spades, making fun of the fist fight. Like, boy, I beat the brakes off you. You know what I mean? Like it's just I don't know. It's just I guess conflict is just a very. It makes a lot of sense why I'm a lot for a lot of people. Because that's just like my normal is like conflict. But to know that people are like, wait a minute, you asked me about Democrats and Republicans. I'm out of here. But I get it though. Like I get it because that is a very personal thing. And especially when somebody just keeps pushing the button and you just like, leave me alone.
and also the Christians over spiritualizing it and you're going to hell if you don't agree with everything I'm saying. Absolutely. That kind of stuff. It's just like, come on.
All right. And that is a wrap on the 2024 election coverage. We're never talking about politics again for the rest of the year.
Assuming everything goes smoothly after Tuesday.
Yeah.
Assuming everything goes smoothly.
No matter what happens on Tuesday, I'm tired of talking politics.
I'm tired of it too, man.
So let's move on to something else that we've actually talked a lot about on this show, which is the nuns, not the Sister Act ones, the religiously unaffiliated ones, before you get your jokes in. We've talked about them a lot over the years because they've been rising really quickly. And, 2 years ago, there was that study that by like 2070, the nuns were going to be the most common sort of religious group in the U.S. That might not be true anymore because it seems like things have actually plateaued. So in 2022, the nuns peaked when 26% of Americans claimed no religious identity, but that number hasn't changed since. And it had been growing every year ever since.
Or up until that point, it had been growing every year. And then it just stopped. So there's been in the last 2 years, no increase.
Yeah.
Loss of
staying at about 1 in 4. So
okay. All right, church, you got a window. You got a window.
Come on. So don't mess it up.
I was really surprised when I saw this because I was like, what's going on? Why are they not? Because it seemed like they were, I don't know, winning this battle that was happening, whatever.
I was looking forward to it.
It's called Armageddon. All the non-religious. Sorry, go ahead.
But I looked into the study because I was trying to figure out if they knew why. They also don't know why. They do have a theory, though, and I think that this theory is correct. When the nuns movement really began to rise was in the 90s. And it wasn't that people were necessarily leaving religion to become non-affiliated. It was that they were never really religious in the first place, and they just felt more comfortable identifying as non-religious. And so over time, as society has just changed, more and more people are just comfortable finally saying, no, I'm not religious at all.
Speaking my truth.
And that makes sense to me because I remember being in middle school and hearing people growing up in the South and hearing so many people say like, yeah, I'm a Christian. And I would think you do not go to church. Nothing about your life seems like Christian at all. But it was so confusing to me. But then I realized as I got older, like, oh, this is just a cultural thing. Like everyone in the South is Christian. Obviously, that's not the case anymore. There are many people that I went to high school with who very proudly are like, no, I'm not religious at all. They're not anti-religion, but they are not religiously affiliated. So it seems like we've plateaued. It'd be great if this trend decreased, but I'll take a plateau for now.
They all work at a microbrewery. Like, I know that type of person. Like, every person I grew up with that stopped going to church, for some reason got invested in some type of microbrewery or some type of like in a really sketchy part of town that's like really cool and hip. Like a lot of my friends, like 4 of them, literally 4 guys that were a part of something it was with the Assemblies of God. I forgot what it's called. Do you remember that little Cam, maybe you know this. Remember that little it was like Master's Commission?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
So they used to have master's
Don't go
commission.
to college. Come intern at our church for free.
4 of my friends went there. 4 of the worst kids you ever met. They did not belong there at all. But they were like, you know what? We went to a retreat. After the retreat, they really felt obligated to serve God and like do this like. Yeah, called. They felt obligated. Called. That's the worst way to say that. They felt the call.
We
shout out
used
to
to
Brad
have-
Lowe.
We used to have our podcast on our network for kind of the next generation of church leaders, and the title of it was called
Obligation.
I so wish we titled it Obligated.
Yeah. So these kids are obligated to do that. I guess they felt obligated by the Lord.
Yeah.
And long story short, though, they within like a year they all left it because it's really hard.
It's a
not
1-year
easy.
program, also.
Yeah, they left it instantly. Like they left it. These are the worst kids. I don't think they made it past 2 months, but they left it within the first year, which 1 year. But they left it. I remember they all stopped serving God. They all started other businesses and stuff like that. And I just noticed that our generation, I don't know what happened to them in that process of them being on fire for God, and then seeing, I guess, maybe the work it would take to
How
really
the sausage is made.
Yeah, maybe that's what affected them. That's the best way to say it. But a lot of my friends that I grew up with that don't serve God, they all were on fire for God. They were all red hot fire for God. And I'm starting to see this break off.
So there's this artist that I really like this person's music. I got onto him really, really late. I got onto them like super late. And then by the time I got onto them, they had left the faith, and they were like the total opposite of the music that they were making.
Kirk Franklin.
No. No, it's underground artists. You probably don't know who it is. I'm gonna keep their privacy. But anyhow, they go out, they do their thing, and I got a chance to talk to someone that knew them, and I was like, "So what happened there?" And they were like, "Yo, I think that person went so hard for God because they were trying to prove to themselves that they were religious." And I think that's often the case too, is that, you know, there's people that they're in this cultural place where they feel, you know, like, dang, I gotta conform, I gotta capitulate, and that they go over the top to try to prove to themselves like, this is who I am. And I think some people, you know, the ruse is up after a certain amount of time, because that's really hard to wear that kind of mask. So
I remember having a conversation with Father John Misty. He's not a father; he's an independent. He's an artist, famous artist, and
What a cool name drop you just did right now! Like a big cool artist. Like, yeah, I was just talking to Father John Misty.
But I was clarifying in case somebody thought I was talking to a priest. I was
His
Father
full
John
name
Misty
too.
And he grew up in the church, like, and now he kind of trolls it. But like there's still spiritual seeking in his lyrics and stuff like that. And that's what I was kind of trying to press in on. Like, what was your experience in the church? Like, he went to a Christian college and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And he led worship and stuff. And that's what he told me. He said, like, because of my gifting, like I was good at music, I was good at whatever, I was put on stage at youth group, put on stage at college ministry, and I'm leading worship. And he's like, I'm sitting there knowing how I'm feeling in that moment, knowing that I haven't met Jesus. Jesus hasn't transformed my life. I'm just being used by the church because of my talent, and I'm leading worship, and everybody's moved, and I can see the impact they're having. And I'm going, I know I'm faking it. So then he just started assuming that everybody else was faking it too, and that this wasn't real.
Wow.
Because he never had an encounter with Christ personally. He assumed nobody really did. Everybody was acting. And so he walked away from the church jaded because he saw that the church rewarded performance and talent.
Yeah.
And that they didn't even care. They didn't even check to know, like, the condition of his heart, or like if he was really like living for the Lord or loving Jesus or had a relationship. They just put him on stage because he was talented.
Church musician, baby.
And I think that's an excellent point. Just going back to your buddies, you know, not to poke fun at Master's Commission or anything like that.
That's what it was, Master's Commission.
Yeah, but what if those guys had a moment, and rather than someone walking with them through that moment and taking time with them, they're like instantly, hey, get to work. Come do this. Come do that. We're going to go take the world for Jesus. I think that's one of the flaws in the evangelical or evangelistic concept of Christianity. As soon as you have an experience with God, now we need to put you to work.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good thing.
I know there's a scripture that has to do with that.
Well, that comes a lot, I think, from Paul's conversion. Is he had this conversion and pretty much immediately started going out, evangelizing, going around spreading the gospel, which is great. I think there are some people that they are capable of doing that. I think when you look at the life of Jesus, before he ever started his ministry, he spent 3 years, 30 years, building up to that. Like, he didn't just show up and immediately start evangelizing. And I think that we are supposed to imitate Christ, not Paul. So I think more of our journey should be taking the time to grow, mature, set in practices, set in rhythms of rest, and then go out and do ministry and gather people.
I would also, you got to take Paul off the table too, because Paul was also a scholar. He was a Torah scholar. He knew the Bible inside and out. He just needed a few things corrected. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even that Paul was but some of these people are they don't know God at all.
At all.
It wasn't like my friend Carlos.
Yeah, it's he don't know God at all.
Yeah.
And then it's so I wouldn't even put Paul I would say the same thing with Paul. Paul, not to correct you, just saying that.
No, but that is what I was trying to say is Paul, I think there are very few people who could have that conversion and immediately go, but it's because of their history. They know the scripture, other things like that. I think for the majority of us is you have that moment with God, find people to help nurture. Even the disciples, they spent time with God for 3 years before they went out. And so, there is literally so much scripture talking about taking the time to set a solid foundation. And I think that's the key that we need to get back to.
And when these young new Christians who are on fire for God, they have the zeal but not the wisdom. They volunteer. They get sucked into the machine of the American church. They get used up, burned out, and spit out, and then they get jaded in their faith. And it's really sad to see. I mean, it's not a new phenomenon. I mean, we've been observing this for decades, but it's something that the church needs to be aware of and do a better job about, I think. So,
Amen.
Emily, last thing.
All right, let's take it home. The last thing I want to talk about today is...
Is the keyboard player about to come out and start playing softly in the background?
Well, we are going to talk about music because there's an album that dropped today from this artist that I don't know if you've heard about, but it's really good, and I wanted to talk about it. The guy's name is Marty, and he just dropped Flop Era Volume 2.
Let's go.
Yeah, I forgot to even mention it on this entire podcast.
We bring it to Relevant Buzz, baby. Here's a clip of Marty's new single.
None of my boys is Christian, I'm trying to spin it around. He said his P.O. was a deacon, I thought he was kidding around. I wasn't laughing at you, I was just thinking out loud. My music is popping in Tokyo, I heard they loving the sound.
Dude, incredible. Congratulations. I loved Volume 1. So happy that there's a Volume 2 so quickly. Appreciate you. Working hard.
Marty, you're one of my top 5 artists right now.
I hope to keep delivering that. I've already finished the second project for next year, which I'm really excited about. And I just feel like, if I could just say anything, I just feel like more than ever, it's been such a great creative time inside of the church, inside of the kingdom of God. And I feel very blessed to be a part of even though I've been doing this for years, I'm kind of like a veteran, but I'm also rookie. And it just feels good. Remember Derek, when we first came out, it was a little bit different. Everyone was a little bit more who is this guy? Who are these people? But right now it's just a creative renaissance. And it's a good time to be an artist in Christian music, and actually a good artist. If you're a good artist, your music's just going to thrive. And shout out to everyone like Dill and John and Forrest and all these guys who are just new school leaders.
Unfortunately, there's some not good artists also thriving.
There's a lot of them, actually.
Everyone can be an ingenue.
Unfortunately, there's still a couple of those.
Did I use it right that time?
That's good.
Wait, I do want to ask, how many Flop Era volumes are you doing?
It's just the one. What it was is I had a whole album, but I was always told this year, don't drop a whole album. No one's going to listen to it. So break it up into 2. So my goal was it's like a full album now. This is the full version of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the first one was over in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and so now this is over in 25 minutes, so you're good to go. And
I just played back to back, baby.
The next one has Cameron's name. I talked about Cameron in the song at the end of it. So
is the song called Cameron?
It's a love ballad.
The song that the next project I'm working on is called Nobody Asked for This. And so the whole idea is Cameron makes fun of me for every song being like 2 minutes and I'm like
maximum 2 minutes.
Yeah, this song literally ended on 2
seconds.
Minutes. Yeah. This song literally ended on 2 minutes. So at the end of it, I'm like, exactly 2 minutes and 3 seconds, Cameron. That's how I ended the first song.
If people still had ringtones on their phone, that would be great for your different ringtones.
I love and I understand in the algorithm era that we're in, and we've talked about this, why the songs need to be short. I love the song so much. I just want another verse and hook and a bridge, maybe, because it's a dope song. I don't want to be over in 90 seconds. It's cool, but
you could do a flop version or flop era volume 2 Cameron's version, and then you just
extended.
The song loop perfectly like a YouTube song. Like
I love it.
I have Kissed by a Rose 5-hour loop on it to put my son to sleep. For some reason that makes him knock out the medieval sounds, and so I'll just do the same thing for this.
That's hilarious. All right, well that'll do it for
Relevant Buzz.
Make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every day, where we are covering the intersection of faith, culture, justice, everything in between. All right. Thanks, Emily. Stay tuned. Up next, Gallant joins us.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
Well, our guest today is Gallant, one of our favorite indie R&B artists. He recently dropped his third studio album called Zinc. He opened up to us about stepping out from his label to become an independent artist, the freedom he finds through his work, and how faith and spirituality have been an unexpected source of inspiration for him. Here's our conversation with Gallant.
Where did the inspiration for this album come from?
I feel like I'm thinking back to the first day that I started working on it. I had just finished doing like a my first completely independent project for a long time called Neptune. And it was very specific. I was like, this is the concept I want for this EP. It was like very early 2000s R&B. And I remember being in this space where I missed being surrounded by a bunch of people who really elevated me, like really like saw my uniqueness as assets rather than, always putting pressure on me to change or to like conform. And I felt a lot of pressure to, fit in a certain genre box and to write certain types of songs for certain types of people. And I was doing a lot of thinking and like reflecting back to when I, first made my first album, Ology, and my project before that, where I felt like it was coming from this frustrated place of rejection and feeling like I was just never going to make something that was really special to me, that was also special to the people who were looking to fill a slot for this genre, fill like a marketing box for this, etc. And I remember like feeling like I really wanted to get back to that place, especially since I was independent for the first time. And I did like a lot of searching, and I did like a lot of trying to just assemble like a group around me that felt like a super friend group, in a way, where I was working with one person mainly for the entire project, and one label partner, and everybody on the team was kind of like more of a friend and a partner than like a manager or a boss, in that type of way. And it was really like a process. So I remember, just really like going back and watching like a lot of films that I really love, like Network and like, directors that I love, and like picking apart what about those things I connected to, not on like a scientific level, but just emotionally. And then feeling like, okay, cool, I really want to make an album that is getting a lot off my chest, but at the same time, hopefully isn't like self-indulgent. And at the same time, I can listen to as a music fan and feel like, oh, I don't really know what genre this is. I don't really know where this fits. And I wouldn't really necessarily expect this dude to be the one making this type of music. But it feels so unique, like still speaking as if I'm like a music fan in third person. But I'm like, oh, this feels really unique and this feels really special. And I like this for this reason. And I enjoy this section of this song. And so it was like a fun process of like mashing together a bunch of different pieces of inspiration musically, but also like outside of music, and just like connecting to different things that excite me as like a fan first, and then hopefully trying to impress the fan, just the music fan version of me.
I realized that it's kind of hard to define your music because there's R&B and rock and techno and a little bit more. And I'm just curious, how do you categorize your music?
I feel like, yeah, it's fun. I mean, I like the R&B label. I think that's totally fair, because I do make a lot of music that I make is R&B. I wish that I could maybe more often get just pegged as more like just an alternative artist, or like. I even think like the first things that I was releasing had more like ambient, like shoegazy, lo-fi quality to it. So I don't know. I feel like the R&B label doesn't really bother me that much. I do feel like I fit more in like a different, like a collection of subgenres than I do just like one big overarching genre. But I don't know. I think of people like Seal. I think of people like Terrence Trent D'Arby. They're making, the way that they approach music was just very, it was like a blend of a bunch of different things that they really liked. And part of me does feel like they just get put in an R&B box just because they're black. I feel like whenever it's a black artist just making pretty much any type of music, people are just going to be like, soulful singer or like R&B artist. And sometimes like there are a couple articles I've seen that's just like rapper Gallant, like, and that's always going to be frustrating, but I don't know. I feel like I can't really, because I do make R&B music. I've tried to just not fight it, but I really wish that that there were more ways to describe just kind of like how varied I think some of my music tastes are. But I'm just happy people are listening, to be honest. So I wouldn't, if they, whatever they want to call it is fine, but I consider it more like alternative.
These crimes of compassion, leave you looking like you're lost in a labyrinth. It keeps running circles round you. These crimes of compassion make you mushy for that mind over madness.
I've noticed your songs are just really descriptive, and I'm curious, what sort of story are you trying to tell on Link?
I feel like it is the image of the dude in like a full body cast, and he's also like the expression on his face is like he knows that he did it to himself in a way, but he's also willing to sit there and wait out the injuries, and he's hoping that he can make a full recovery, and he's going over all of the things that went wrong in his head. Like if he could make like a left turn here, would that have avoided him like breaking his arm? Or if he had made like a stop at the stop sign, would that have avoided him like, messing up his knee? I felt like it was a very, I feel like every song has like an acknowledgement that like I'm the one who's at fault, like there's no like blame in any of the lyrics or any of the songs on other people. Like I think it's like a very, I don't want to say it's like a self-punishing type of record, but it's like, it's a record that like lyrically takes all the accountability. It's like I'm really owning up to all the mistakes that I made and trying to do better and trying to diagnose it with a plan of action to not mess it up the next time. And that was another thing that for some reason it just drew me to like the imagery and the title, because it's like the person who's singing all these songs, the person who's writing all these songs, and the narrator and all of the lyrics is solely responsible for the position that he's in. He's solely responsible for patching up all of the wounds or all of the pain that he's caused. And he's willing to do the work, and he's willing to not just diagnose it, but take action and heal all the wounds himself.
Who is that to blame you for how I'm losing grip, falling deeper and deeper?
Something that I've noticed specifically is you use a lot of religious imagery in your songs. Does faith play a big role in your life?
It definitely has been. I feel like I have a very interesting and like maybe complicated like relationship with faith, because I feel like it's been there have been periods where I'm like extremely religious in one specific way, and then there have been periods where I'm not very religious at all, and then there are periods where I'm looking at a much bigger picture, and it's more about like the universe, etc. And so I don't even necessarily have a great idea of exactly where I fall or where I land, but I do know that there's always been a philosophy that not everything is necessarily within my control, but also being willing and being able to focus on the things that are, and not, just take full responsibility in a way that allows me to make sure that I'm always, within reason, doing things that lead to a more positive outcome, not focusing on the negative things, visualizing the end game that I really want in any situation, and making sure that I can work every day to get up to that goal, whether it's like a personal goal or a different goal or a bigger picture goal, etc. And just like having a lot of faith that it will all, work out in the end in one way or another. And so I think that bigger philosophy, especially lyrically, when I'm doing a lot of things like imploring to like the universe, or I'm like making like a reference to like one like micro thing to like a big cosmic thing, or like even a micro thing to like an even smaller molecular thing. There is definitely a philosophy that connects everything together, where it's like, it's weird. It's like something. It's definitely like a lack of control in a good way, but then at the same time, it's like making sure that you are never ceding your own destiny anybody else. Whatever the intersection of those two feelings or those two philosophies are, I feel like is what I for some reason love to focus on lyrically.
Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Next time I'm saying please don't mind me. I'm just a fly.
That was Gallant. Make sure to check out his new album, Zinc. It's out now. All right, after the break, we've got your feedback.
Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's Soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN.
Okay, it's time for your feedback. Now, some of you long-term listeners are like, where's the music? Like, well, guess what, y'all? We're trying something different. We're trying to get in between the segments quicker. Since we're having sponsors supporting the show, thank you, sponsors, for supporting the show, making it possible. I figure playing music and ads is just too much. So give us your feedback. We'd love to hear what you think about the little slightly sped up version of the podcast. But it's time for your feedback. So last few weeks, because we were playing with format and frequency, we didn't ask a question on the podcast. So we went to social media and asked you guys this week's question. We asked you, what is a surprising or unexpected hobby you have? You guys replied, here's some of our favorites.
So
some good ones.
Chang Yu says, not sure if it's a hobby, but I definitely spend a lot of time looking up people from high school on social media, and I'm definitely embarrassed about it. That's hilarious.
Emily does that.
That's so good.
You're like, wow, they age like milk.
Yeah, that's the only reason why you want to look them up.
I look them up when they post about being engaged or having a baby or whatever, and I'm like, what else have you been doing in your life? And then I do spend probably way too long going back through their posts.
It is crazy though when you see some of these people that you went to high school with and they look like old middle-aged people that are uncool and just like whatever. It's like,
some
is
of
that
us
what
are
we
not even 30 yet. So.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, is that what we look like? Even not 30. Like, it's like you look like you're 40 years old. Is that what we look like now?
I'll be honest. I looked at it. I was like hanging out with a friend and we were showing a picture, or I was showing her a picture of something from I think 2019. So 2020 pre-election, all that and stuff. Yeah. And she was like, is this you in high school? And I was like, no, I'm 24 years old there. That was only 5 years ago. And she was like, you look a lot younger. I was like, yeah, I've aged a lot in the last 5 years along with the rest of the world. So
it's been stressful times.
Yeah.
COVID was one of them ones. So I think we all got a few bags under our eyes.
You know, the presidency pictures where it's them at the first day of the presidency to the end.
You're Obama after 4 years.
That's what I felt like she was saying was
8 years.
You've been through it. And it was
you aged 30 years and 4. Oh,
yeah,
poor Emily.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
There's so many good ones here. I'll be honest with you. There's so many good ones. I'm going to go with
Sarah because I think this is really funny.
Good.
Her hobby is browsing Zillow. Cannot stress enough that I'm not in the market for a house.
But that's her hobby is browsing Zillow.
I have friends that do this.
I do too. Yeah.
I have when I moved to Nashville, I had a friend who kept sending me houses in Nashville, and I was like, sweetie, I'm not buying a house. I cannot.
We're just look at this jacuzzi. This one has a jacuzzi.
She was like, this is just a nice house. And then she would tell, she was telling me about the people that live there because that information's on Zillow. And I was like, this feels too public. I should know. I need to know less about my neighbors.
But yeah, I do know people who do that too. And I know people who drive around and do that. They'll be like, look at this house. They'll go to like big houses. I like this one from Reedy. The past year I've gone full grandma mode and started knitting blankets. I'm so down. I'm happy that you do that. I love knitting. I love people who knit. I think it's the coolest thing. Honestly, I do not knit, but my grandmother, my grandmother, she was such a good knitter that they would frame like what she would knit. And in my house, we have she knit me like Ninja Turtles, and she knit me like a Batman, and she knit me like blankets. And I just love the comfort of I'm not talking about the one that like pulls apart. I'm talking about real knitting, like
good quality one.
Good quality. I love it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
The other night I was with some friends and we went to this, I don't know if you watched Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix, but they did an Orlando episode and he fell in love with this ice cream shop. It's kind of like they do weird, I think it's like Asian influence flavors, all this kind of stuff. So I hadn't been yet. So we go there and it's like line out the door, packed, hipster, cool area. And so while I'm waiting in line, I look and there's a person there eating their ice cream or, they'd found a seat, they were by themselves and they were knitting. They were just there enjoying the buzz of the place and just knitting and stuff. And I thought, this is the most hipster thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
That like you bring your knitting stuff to the cool ice cream shop on a Friday night. You just hang out.
That's such a hipster thing too, to like knit, right? Like, another thing I've been noticing a lot of, and we'll get the next one, but it's performative reading. People will go to a coffee shop.
Look at me reading.
It's when somebody pretends to read. It's when somebody pretends to read because they're good looking and they like their outfit and they want to be the mysterious character for the day. And so they sit there with a book on women's rights or something like that. And he'll have like his long, flowy, good looking hair. And he'll be looking up a book. And I'm like, dog, you are not reading that while eating pear and blue cheese ice cream. It's just not happening. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Performative reading. They go to a bar, like they go out to read the book.
They face the crowd too. They don't like need privacy. They want everyone to see they're reading a stupid book.
This timeline is crazy we live in. This is a crazy timeline.
There is one that I want to talk about. He said, I make a playlist for every possible life scenario. Stuck in traffic at 5 p.m., choosing between cereals, Monday morning existential crisis. I don't make playlists because I don't think I have enough discipline. But I do like finding playlists. And there's like one girl in particular I found a couple years ago who makes the most hyper-specific playlists that I'm obsessed with. My favorite one she made is called Songs That Make You Feel Like You're Drinking McDonald's Sprite. I love it.
That's great.
It's iconic.
I feel like there's like EDM on that. I don't know why.
Does it burn?
It lights you up inside. And
every song is like, when
I listen to it, I'm like, I do feel like I'm drinking a McDonald's Sprite. Like, it's so great.
You guys share those with us.
I thought the whole McDonald's Coke, McDonald's Sprite thing was like just kind of like placebo, like we all think. Dude, no, they actually, McDonald's has a deal with Coca-Cola that the drinks that are shipped to McDonald's are in metal containers, not the bags that other soda fountains have. And the metal containers retain the carbonation significantly more. And that's why when it comes out, it is so much more carbonated, sweeter, sharper than other fountains. It's really different. I didn't realize it.
They give a little bit more syrup too. That's what I've heard too. They give just like the perfect amount. The ones that we go anywhere else, we're not getting the perfect amount. Right. That's actually how it's supposed to be. Just like
they partner on it though. Like literally it's like McDonald's and Coke have a deal that we're going to be like the best experience of your beverage.
I love that.
It's win-win.
I rock with it. Now, when they get rid of the coli and the Big Mac, we'll be,
you gotta go with the chicken Big Mac.
They gotta have a lot of carbonation to cancel out the E. coli.
All right, it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week. Hey.
Okay, well, earlier in the show, we were talking about TikTok Shop, Temu, stuff like that. We want to know what's the craziest thing or maybe the most regrettable thing you ended up buying from the TikTok Shop late at night. Oh, this looks cool. It shows up. It's not what you wanted or what you thought. We want to know the craziest impulse buy you've done either on Temu or TikTok Shop. Tell us about it. If you want to send us a link or a photo, you could do that too. Hit us up on X at Relevant Podcast or wherever you see us post on the other socials as well.
I'm excited about these.
Yeah, maybe it'll be or recommendations. Stuff like Marty's recommending the hoodie that he found.
See, it's going to be a problem. I haven't bought anything on TikTok Shop yet.
I highly recommend it. Honestly, it comes very, very quickly. It's really good.
I have a lot of friends that have, but I think the things that they're advertising to me, I'm like, I don't want it. Like I keep getting the same pair of overalls. Like every third video is about these pair of overalls. And
Are they the Dickies ones, the striped one?
No, they're cheetah print ones, and they're cute, but I don't want them.
If you're ever in the market for a wireless meat thermometer, I got a link that I can throw in the bio.
I actually was dreaming about that last night, so yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, I want to thank Gallant again for joining us today. Make sure to check out his new album, Zinc. It's available now. Also, make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every day to see what we're covering at the intersection of faith, life, justice, and culture. We've got a little something for everyone. Also, don't miss out on any of the great content we're posting by signing up for our newsletter. You can do that right there at the site. Check out Relevant Plus for the best content experience we offer, which is this podcast, ad-free unlimited reading at the website, our exclusive, beautiful digital magazine every quarter, and more. Plans start as low as $250 a month. Go check it out. Also, make sure to follow us on all the socials. We're posting every day. Lots of stuff. All right. Thanks, everyone. Okay. On that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Derek Miner.
I'm Emily Brown.
I'm Marty.
We will see you on Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Pettiness breeds ingenuity.
Relevant Podcast Network.